Swiggity swag, what's in the bag? Jay here, and Nintendo just announced a new 3DS system. As if we didn't already have enough 3DS systems before, let's shove two more in your face. But there's actually something different about these new 3DS systems, and I'm going to go over some of the features that stuck out to me in this video. And if you need any more information, I will leave links to some more info down in the video description, so go check that out. But let me go ahead and just jump into this, and I will give you guys my final personal opinions on this new system. So the new system is actually called the new Nintendo 3DS, and I'm actually not really partial to the name because it seems it's very uncreative, but you know, it's whatever. It's still I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Some people may actually like the new name. Me personally, I don't like the new name. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the features that this new console brings. So the first thing that actually stuck out to me when looking at this new system were the buttons. As you can see on the screen, we actually get colorful buttons on the regular new Nintendo 3DS, and then you get the colorful letters on the XL version. And on the regular 3DS, the buttons are supposed to, I guess, pay homage, or you know, supposed to be a throwback for the Super Nintendo system. As you can see on the screen with the controller, the button layout and the button colors and stuff are exactly the same. So I think that's actually pretty cool of Nintendo to do that. And then on the XL system, you can see that instead of the buttons being colored, it's actually the letters that are colored. So I think that's actually a really nice touch of Nintendo, or I think that's a really nice thing that Nintendo did to these new 3DSs. Also, as you can see, there is a little nub, or a little nub button type thing above the A, B, X, Y buttons, and that is supposed to be the new C stick, which is supposed to mimic the C stick on the GameCube, which I do believe that's used for camera control. So I think that's more or less a nice touch. I'm not really one of those people that uses the camera option often, or if I do, I use like the L and R triggers to move my camera. So I'm not really sure how much I'll actually use this C stick on the 3DS, but it is just nice to have, and maybe it will come in handy for games like maybe Kingdom Hearts or something, or something of that nature. So I think that's actually a really nice addition to the system as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it as often as they would want me to. Also, when it comes to the design of the new Nintendo 3DS system, they actually moved around a couple of things on the system itself. So first thing they moved was the game card slot. Now, instead of it being on the back of the 3DS, it's actually on the front of the 3DS, and I think that's kind of, it's on the front and it's on the left side, I do believe, and that's kind of weird. I don't know why they moved it. I guess it's just one of those design features where they just want to implement it because they want to be new or something like that. They just want to be innovative. So I think that's actually, I mean, I don't really know how I feel about that. I really don't too much care. I mean, it's a nice touch, but I just don't too much care about that. They also moved the power button to the bottom of the Nintendo 3DS system as well. And I think that's actually a nice touch, because now you actually don't have to open your system to cut it on. You can actually just turn it on while it's still closed, and I think that actually saves a little bit of time when it comes to turning on your system, which it doesn't really matter how long it takes someone to turn on their system, but I just think that it will be a faster process now that the power button is on the bottom, is accessible without actually having to open up the screen. And they also moved the stylus to the bottom of the Nintendo 3DS as well, so I think that's actually a nice touch. It really didn't matter to me where the stylus was placed, but just the fact that they moved it as well, I mean, it just looks nice. It just looks nice to me. Also, when it comes to new buttons, there are two new triggers on the back of the new Nintendo 3DS. We have the Z right and the Z left trigger, or the ZR and the ZL triggers. Now, I'm not sure what these triggers are going to be used for in terms of games. I do know for a fact that there's a Xenoblade game that is coming to this system exclusively, and maybe that game will take advantage of these new triggers, but as of right now, I have absolutely no clue what these new triggers are supposed to be for. So if someone can tell me what they're supposed to be used for down in the comment section below, that would be very nice, and I would thank you very much for that. Also, when it comes to the new 3DS systems, they have a new function. They finally decided to bring the auto brightness function to the 3DS system, and I think that is very, very smart, because I, for one, do not like having to change my brightness all the time when it comes to playing a game or going outside and stuff. I would rather just have my brightness be automatically, you know, like adjust itself accordingly, and that way I don't have to keep my brightness on 5 to where my screen is like blaring at my face at night and it's super duper bright. So I really do like that they finally actually decided to bring an auto brightness feature to these new 3DSs. Also, these new 3DSs are supposed to have better battery life. Now, that can be judged based upon each user, but I'm just going to take their word for it and say, you know, they have a better battery life, so that's actually really, really nice. Another new function, or another improved function with the new Nintendo 3DS, is the new 3D viewing. And I personally don't too much care about the 3D, but apparently whenever you would play something in 3D and you have the 3D turned on the old 3DS, if you moved, there was a blur. But now with this new system, there is no blur when you actually move your system, or you move or switch positions. And I guess that's cool, but in my opinion, I don't think a lot of people actually use 3D function on this system, just because it kind of strains the eyes most of the time. It strains my eyes whenever the 3D system is the 3D function is actually turned on the system. So I just keep it off. But maybe some people will like this new feature, or improved feature. And then also, when it comes to more CPU power, the new Nintendo 3DS system actually is supposed to be faster than the old system, which I think that's actually really, really nice. Now, where does it come into play? I have no clue. I don't know if it means that you can run games like Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire better. I don't know, but it does say you're supposed to be able to download games quicker, install games quicker, and be able to browse the eShop a lot faster than before. So that's actually a plus. It doesn't really matter. New speed, improved speed is always a plus in my book. So now that we've talked about the new 3DS systems, let's see how it compares to the old systems. So as you can see on the screen, with the new Nintendo 3DS, the regular one, it is actually slightly bigger than the old Nintendo 3DS, and I think that's actually really nice, and I think that's pretty cool. Not only that, but you can also change the faceplate on the new Nintendo 3DS systems to whatever you want to, however you want to customize it. So they actually made the regular new Nintendo 3DS system customizable, and I think that's actually a really nice touch. Now, for me personally, I like to go XL because I love the big screen, so I probably won't even touch this new Nintendo 3DS, the little one anyway, but I do think that's a nice feature, especially with people who don't want to spend the extra money on the XL. They can at least get the smaller version and then customize it the way they want with faceplates and stuff. So I think that's actually really cool. And then looking at the new Nintendo 3DS XL, compared to the old Nintendo 3DS XL, you can actually see that it is slightly bigger than the old one, and it actually weighs a little less than the old one too, which I find that to be kind of funny, because the new Nintendo 3DS, the regular one, weighs more than the old one, but the XL weighs less. The new XL weighs less than the old one. So I think that's kind of funny, kind of opposite in my opinion. I don't know. You would think the XL would probably gain a couple of pounds or a couple of grams as they have it on screen, but it actually loses weight, and I think that's actually really nice. So they probably just like got rid of a few things inside the system and just made everything lighter, so it's a little bit lighter in your hands. For me personally, weight doesn't really matter when it comes to a handheld, as long as it feels, as long as it has a decent weight to it and it doesn't feel like paper, and doesn't feel like if I drop it it'll break into like a million pieces, I'm fine. But of course with these systems, if you drop it, then it's pretty much game over, especially if it's opened. So yeah, just don't drop your system, guys. So as far as my personal opinions goes with these new Nintendo 3DS systems, first of all, I hate the name new Nintendo 3DS. It's very, very, very uncreative. Nintendo definitely could have come up with something else for these names. I don't know if the English names are going to have the same name or not, but as far as the Japanese names go, the new Nintendo 3DS just kind of lacks it's lacking. It's really lacking, and I just don't like the name. But as far as the system goes, I'm actually really looking forward to these systems. It is being released in Japan in October 2014, so they actually get it before Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. But in the US, and I do believe in other countries, we won't be getting it until like 2015. So that is really unfortunate for us. But hopefully it sells well enough in Japan, so then they'll like port it over to the US and stuff like that. Because I really want to get my hands on one of these systems, because I, for one, love the new button layout. I love the new buttons. I love the color. I love the colorful buttons. It brings life to the system, because usually we'll have just the regular like the regular black buttons, or the regular white buttons, or the regular whatever color the DS is, that's the color of the buttons, and that to me seems so plain. So I personally actually really enjoy the fact that we have colorful buttons now, well, with the smaller system. And in the bigger system we have the letters themselves that are colored. So I think that's a really nice touch when it comes to these new systems. As far as the other new buttons go, like the new C stick and the new triggers, I don't know how much I'll actually use those buttons specifically, but I do think it's quite nice to have a C-stick there, just so you know you can control your camera if you need to. And then the new triggers, I absolutely have no clue what they're going to be used for, but I'm pretty sure that there will be games where that will be exclusively released for the new Nintendo 3DS systems that will take advantage of those new triggers. I also really love the fact that they included an auto brightness feature, and the fact that this new 3DS is supposed to be a lot faster than the old one. So maybe games like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, X and Y will like not have the frame drop when it comes to playing like horde battles and stuff, and when it comes to like having a lot of Pokemon on one screen at a time. So maybe the new Nintendo 3DS systems can handle those games a lot better than the old systems, but I'm not necessarily sure about that. I'm just going off of, this is just basically my thoughts and assumptions and stuff like that. And that will be it for this video, you guys. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave your own thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you also enjoyed, leave a like, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.